Welcome back to Real Florida Magazine.
Welcome back. Still here today on the beautiful campuses of Florida Panhandle Technical College, talking to Emerald Coast Hospice. Here right now with Sunshine Speers, a brand new hire with Gentiva / Emerald Coast Hospice. Do you actually work for Gentiva or Emerald Coast Hospice, or is there a difference?
We're an affiliate of Gentiva.
Okay.
So I actually recently transitioned from home health over to the hospice agency.
Ah, okay. So already coming from home health, for whom did you work?
Gentiva.
Ah.
So I did a transfer.
Ah, so a lateral transfer basically. In the same location?
Yes, in the Mariana office. I
Okay.
worked for the Mariana office for home health and transitioned to the Mariana office.
So sort of seamless then, I would imagine. Same sort of philosophy, same parent company.
Relatively.
What do you actually do day to day?
Well, for right now, I'm just learning the hospice process. I do have quite a bit of experience with elderly aging. I worked for a long-term care facility for about 10 years. So a lot of what I've seen as far as hospice is concerned, a lot of comfort measures, comfort care and support. That's huge for a lot of people who are in the process of losing a loved one or for the person who is imminent, if you will. And actually, the biggest reason that I became a nurse many years ago, 15 years ago, is because both of my grandparents were on hospice services, and kind of struck my interest at that time and made me decide that that's what I wanted to go to school to be a nurse for. So.
Yeah, well, you know, and that whole nursing industry, that assisted living industry, definitely changed dramatically over the last 40, 50 years, certainly, and probably even over the last 15 or 20. We've had the opportunity to do some work with nursing facilities owned by larger corporations. And what used to be a place where people went to die, they were just basically, fed and changed, and they're taking them out parasailing. They're taking them on fishing trips. I mean, it's the whole philosophy. And the way I understand it, from their perspective, and speaking to patients and residents, is that the baby boomers, of which I am one, were retiring. And we're not going to settle for what they used to do in the old days. So people are making their own decisions about where they're going to go for assisted living. Many cases, much healthier at that older age than maybe their parents and grandparents were. Did you find that when you were in the industry?
Absolutely. Quality of care is huge for so many people. You want to feel like that the time that you have left, which could, for any of us, be just another day, no matter what our age. But we want to make sure that we're having the highest quality of life that we can with whatever time it is we have left. And so I found it's very important especially in hospice, for us to be able to provide those services, and in long-term care or rehab facilities, whatever the case may be.
Do you find any difference in what you're doing now? And I understand that you've just gotten into the hospice thing, but as far as the extended care and the nursing care versus regular nursing day to day on a health basis?
The biggest thing I found in regards to hospital care versus long-term care, home health, hospice, is because people are coming home a lot sicker than they used to. So we're having to provide the care in the homes now that used to be provided in the hospital or in a long-term care facility. A lot of that has to do with Medicare guidelines and the diagnosis of the persons in the hospital and that sort of thing. Some things that a lot of us don't have much control over. But as nurses, I'm seeing a huge transition from those people who were in the hospital years ago very sick now to being in the home very sick.
Wow.
Providing services in the home that used to be provided in the hospital.
So the average hospital stay getting smaller or shorter?
Yes, absolutely. And there's a huge frown on readmissions to the hospital as well. So that's why it's so important for home health and hospice agencies to be able to provide those services in the home, is to prevent those rehospitalizations. And of course, for a hospice patient, the huge thing is I want to stay at home, and who doesn't want to be? There's no place like home. So you want to be there, and you want to have the family around you that love you and that support you, and anything that hospice can do to help that process and keep you in the home is, if it's important to you as a patient and as family, it's important to us.
Realizing that you are relatively new in the hospice industry, what do you look forward to the most? What's the thing that got your attention, and what is it that you look forward to?
As a nurse, there are a lot of rules and guidelines as far as documentation. I'm looking forward to be able to spend more time with the patient themselves. I found through the years that a lot of our time is spent trying to chart what we should be doing or what we're doing versus being able to spend that time with the patient. And being in the patient's home and dealing with the family and the patient themselves, and not being pulled in 15 different directions, just being able to focus my care on that one person and that one situation, I'm really looking forward to that, because I've not always had that opportunity.
Wow, pretty enlightening there. What do you anticipate is going to be one of the bigger challenges?
Building relationships with them, and then, eventually losing someone. But I found that guiding a family through that process, empowering them, helping them, educating them, because it is a situation where you feel like you don't have any control as a family. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what to expect next. So as a healthcare provider, it's important for me to be able to give them the information to help lead them and guide them through that process, because if you know what to expect, sometimes it makes it easier.
Yeah, well, as a nurse, certainly you lost patients, but you were on to the next patient. Whereas, if I understand you correctly and hear what you're saying, you're actually going to be able to spend that time. As Sue Brandt said, hospice then spends time with the survivors. So that transition, so that's a totally, for me, a totally foreign concept compared to regular health care.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that, as you're saying, that's what appeals to you about that.
Well, and you build relationships with people that you see for years to come. You get to spend that time with them during one of the most intimate times of their life, and that's something they'll always remember. And so you want to be able to continue to see them, hopefully for them to volunteer and you be able to help guide them and them be helpful to you as well. So.
Your extended family just keeps getting bigger.
Absolutely.
I know that you were a little reluctant to come on camera today. I've got to tell you, you couldn't have been a better spokesperson.
Thank you.
For what you are about to enter into. Coming from nursing, you're not going to be any stranger to what you're going to be doing. You just have to be basically learning the nuts and the bolts of what Emerald Coast is going to expect of you. But you're well spoken, and your passion shows. So for what it's worth, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking that time.
Thank you.
Here right now with Sunshine Speers, talking about Emerald Coast Hospice, talking about hospice in general. I say all the time that I learn something from every show that we do. This one no different. Learning more about hospice, and if this tugs at your heartstrings, and it certainly should, if you're a giving person and you're looking to volunteer, no better cause than to check out hospice, how you can get involved. Again, I hope you've learned something from the show. We'll be right back.